Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Arsenal versus Newcastle Carabao Cup semi-final watch-along. Two absolute I mean, look, I always feel unless it's your team in this, there's not a lot of interest because it's two legs and there tends to be a bit of bad games. But I'm actually very excited about the next couple of nights because I think Spurs and Newcastle could massively do with a trophy. Bloody hell, I mean, combined, they're older than me without a trophy, which is old. And I think also that, you know, for Arsenal, they could do with a trophy as well. But I think there are other stories going on as well, in the sense that Arsenal, I feel, are in a very... Look, they proved me wrong last week against Brentford. Brighton, you know, draw. I just feel Arsenal might be on the... They're almost on... They're on the cusp of something special, or on the cusp of a fall-off. And they've got such a big week with this game tonight, then the FA Cup at the weekend, then Spurs. So I think there's a lot to play for. And then Liverpool, obviously, tomorrow night, they could be on the verge of something special as well. So I think Newcastle are going to get something here. I'm going to set up a poll in a minute. But we're just about to start the game. So I'm a little bit late. I came over from the United stand and we were having a very big debate about Man United allowing stories to be out there that people like Kobe Mainoo aren't unsellable. What price would you say would be a fair price for Mainoo? We'll have people who are not Man United fans here as well. So let us know about that. But we're just about to start here. Isak's going to kick it off. Newcastle obviously not in Europe and can afford to go strong in both of these ties. Looking forward to it and up and running. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Result poll. Let's go Arsenal win, draw, and Newcastle win. I actually quite like the fact that there's quite a big gap between the first and second leg as well. Because it's... I think this is the best Carabao Cup semi-final schedule we've had in a few years. I actually think it's good. I don't care whether you think I'm right or not. Right, let me give you the team news anyway. I know it's whizzing by. You can see the Newcastle lineup there, but you've got a very strong Newcastle lineup. Dubravka, Livramento, Botman, Byrne and Hall, Willock, Tonali and Joel Linton, and then Jacob Murphy, Isak and Gordon. Bruno Guimaraes not playing. Presume injured or suspended. Let me know about that. A bit of a different team for Arsenal. Raya, Lewis Skelly, Gabriel Saliba, Timber, Rice, Partey and Odegaard, and then Martinelli, Havertz and Trossard. Little bit of rotation there, still a strong Arsenal side. So, yeah, interesting game. Suspended Bruno Guimaraes, which is... but they've won their last 5 games in a row, Newcastle, in the Prem. So, yeah, I reckon this is going to be a good game. Newcastle probably in their best position they've been in for a long time, coming to the Emirates. Mario G says Mainoo 70 million, but only because he's English. It's a 6-game win streak, says X. Newcastle's got a solid attack, says Divith. Well, we're in London, aren't we? They're in London on Saturday against Spurs. I wonder if they bothered going home. I mean, would you go home? I'd have stayed down in London, I would. Isak into Murphy. One thing Arsenal can rely on in this game is their ability to defend well. But yeah, I fancy Newcastle to get something here today. How bad was the Wanyari's injury as well? He went off at the weekend, didn't he? Any good either ors, any controversial topics, anything like that, get involved. You're very welcome. He's out for a few weeks. Are Arsenal going to buy anybody in the transfer window? I mean, there must be some Arsenal fans tuning in. Nice ball into Isak. He's on there. He's onside. He's up against Saliba. Needs a bit of help. Cutbacks on. Joel Linton. Joel Linton. More like Jolene. Jolene. That was terrible. Lovely ball, though. Lovely ball into Isak. He does everything right. But look at this shot from Joel Linton. Oh, my God. Rubbish. Good play by Havertz. Holds it up. Odegaard. Good high tempo. Good fast tempo from both teams. That's what we like to see. Would you rather sell Mainu or Garnacho, says Yahya? I wouldn't personally like to sell either of them, but probably Garnacho at the moment. I mean, that could change in 6 months, but I think right here, right now. What's your thoughts on the Olmo saga, says Joshua? I've lost interest in it because he wants to stay at Barcelona, doesn't he? So it's not like he wants to leave. It strikes me as one of those bad news stories that everybody's reveling in somebody else's bad news. The real victim's Dani Olmo, isn't it? I mean, Barcelona financially have been pissing around for years, but Dani Olmo wants to play for Barcelona, so I do feel a bit sorry for him that he can't at the moment. Good cross to the back post. Good defending by Livramento. Heads it out for a corner. Here we go. First set piece of the evening. For Arsenal, they like a bit of a set piece, don't they? They bloody well do. They do. They do. M. Parker says, I remember when Fabrizio first came on the United stand, he had like 100,000 subs. Now he's too expensive. You made that boy. He wasn't mainstream. No, that's not what I said. I didn't say that that was the case. He probably is too expensive now, but, you know, to everything, turn. Things have just moved on. To everything, turn. Nesta or Cannavaro? I liked Cannavaro, Casey. I loved Cannavaro. Right, this corner's about to come in. Thanks, Parker, though. We like those sort of questions. I'm here to answer anything. I like a bit of, you know, as I said, entertainment in 2025. I think content's too tame. It's too boring. We have a responsibility ourselves in this community to make entertaining questions and content. I'm appalled. I'm appalled by how poor content is in 2025. Primarily from the mainstream. I mean, I don't know about you, but over Christmas, I'm watching classic Only Fools and Horses. I'm watching classic films like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and listening to classic Christmas songs. And I'm like, did somebody in the year 2000 just say, right, we've got enough comedy, we've got enough music, and we've got enough films. Let's not make anything good anymore. In fact, let's start making shit stuff that's, you know, just ticks a load of boxes and makes everybody happy. But it doesn't make everybody happy because you're trying to tick too many bloody boxes. You're trying to please everybody. Jack of all trades, master of none. Good passing around by Newcastle. I genuinely think if a TV production company these days was going to make a comedy about hold on a minute. Good pass by Declan Rice. Arsenal might get a breakaway here. Let me just see. Ornstein Bomber, apparently. Ooh, let me have a look. Let me have a look. And you know, if it, you know, why would you? I'm really hoping this is not something that I need to react to on the United stand, because why would you do it, David? Why would you do it? Manchester United will reluctantly consider the sale of homegrown talents like Mainu and Garnacho to help comply with financial rules. You're not actively looking to trade the pair, but neither untouchable if suitable offers arrive. Yeah, well, it's literally what we've just spoken about tonight on the United stand, isn't it? Well, I've quote tweeted it. So have a look at that. I just think it's an absolute disgrace that... oh, Arsenal nearly scored. Not that Arsenal nearly scored. I think that's an absolute disgrace that... that you know, David Ornstein is a fantastic journalist. For him to be putting it out there that Manchester United will consider selling Kobe Mainoo means that Man United will consider selling Kobe Mainoo. It's absolutely disgusting. To brief that is just shocking. It really is shocking. To be briefing that is disgraceful. David Ornstein doesn't deal in speculation. He's been briefed that Man United would reluctantly consider selling homegrown talents like Mainoo and Garnacho. And people reluctantly kiss my arse. Like, I don't give a shit about reluctantly. Imagine if this was Liverpool and Liverpool said we would reluctantly sell Kwanzaa and Curtis Jones and Bradley, or Arsenal, we'd reluctantly sell Saka. You know, it sends a message of knobheadness on a gold standard. You're not real. You're not a real football club if you're sending a message out to one of the best journalists in the game that you would sell, you know, the player in Mainoo that actually symbolises what this club's been for 80 years. Disgusting. And you know what makes me, you know what annoys me the most? This guy conned a load of fans with his whole homegrown lifelong fan. Bollocks. Bollocks. No lifelong fan of Man United is going to sanction a story to a top journalist that you would be willing to sell a player that represents everything about your football club. Makes me sick. Makes me absolutely sick. Anyway, Arsenal on the attack. Martinelli. They've had a good start, Arsenal, and good defending. Another corner. Move Maniac says, what's the fastest you've ever driven and in what car? Oh, I can't tell you that. It'd be damning evidence, wouldn't it? Do you want me to tell you when I did it so they can go and check the cameras? Actually, it wasn't recent. It'd have been, nah, look, you know, I don't know. You can't, no, actually, there's probably a limit of prosecutions. It was a few years ago. It was on a motorway and it was well in excess of what you should be doing. Oh, over the bar. Arsenal there from a corner. Timber on the back post. Heads it over the bar. You said Alanga was an EFL player. Never made a mistake, Chris? Forgot we lived in a world of perfection. That makes me laugh when people say stuff like that. Nelly says, referees will have a tryout on announcing VAR decisions through PA in the stadium to understand what they are calling for and what not. Very interesting. Oh, great. Yeah. So we won't try and fix VAR. We'll just give them a bloody microphone. We still haven't got automated offside, but we can give them a fucking microphone. Come on. It's just another... You're just being conned by another little gimmick. You can see that handball in the Wolves game yesterday. Not a penalty because the ball didn't travel enough. It travelled more than the De Ligt one. Newcastle on the attack. Arsenal with numbers back. Most underrated striker. My pick is Giroud, says RT. JM says check Ornstein, just done it. Thank you very much. Oh, oh, Isaac just behind. Oh, cleared again. Isak, and again, Tonali over the bar. Newcastle close there. Isak with the cutback. It was behind Anthony Gordon. Hall with a shot blocked, and then Tonali from the edge of the box over the bar. What do you think about Elon Musk buying Liverpool, says Ollie. This is an interesting story. I don't know whether there's any truth in it. Apparently he's a Man United fan. But, I mean, I don't know what Liverpool fans would think about it. Liverpool fans are very socially aware, etc. But apparently Liverpool owners wouldn't sell the club anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd take Elon Musk at Manchester United, 100%. I mean, fucking hell, I'd take bloody... I'm trying to think of another person. He's got a hard name for me to make a joke out of, really. If only there was somebody else called Elon who was a prat. He'd put a lot of money in. Yeah, it would be a vanity project with money instead of a vanity project with a prat like we've got. What's this one here? Would you take Todd Bowley? Mate, I don't think you realise how shit United's ownership is. Of course I would. When are you playing FIFA? I miss Goldbridge Ball, says Ollie. I'd love to be back playing FIFA, mate, but it's time at the moment. I'm an Arsenal fan. What was your prediction today? Probably going to go... I think Newcastle will get something out of the game. I'm going to go with a draw. Sean says, is this a watch-along? I don't know, Sean. It's the Mark Goldbridge That's Football channel. It will be whatever it is. If you don't like it, just go. It's free content, mate. So I'm sometimes busy doing other stuff. It's called life. We've got some big news dropping about David Ornstein and Manchester United, and I've got a few other things going on as well. Welcome to the real world. This isn't the United stand, Mark. Stop taking the mickey out of us, says Smelvin. Well, I'm very tempted to end the stream and go and do something on the United stand. So if you want me to stop it, I'll stop doing it in a minute. I'm busy multifunctioning with other stuff. So it's a bit like that, whether I stop doing it or not. So stop moaning. As a Chelsea fan, I cannot believe the Mainu news, says Max. I don't. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I tell you, if Man United were to sell Mainu, I'd seriously consider just stopping doing the United stand, because I think that there would have to be there would have to be a reaction to that. If you could go back and experience any football game, which would you pick, says TMAF? Oh, it's such a boring answer, isn't it? But it would always be 99. If I could get to experience without knowing the result. I mean, I presume that's what you're talking about. Greetings, Mark. Do you think United is short-sighted enough to sell Mainu, or is it just a negotiation ploy for a higher wage? Stephen, it's not a negotiation tactic from Mainu. It's coming from the club. David Ornstein's not working for Kobe Mainu's agent. David Ornstein's getting that from the club. It mentions Garnacho as well. Another draw to Arsenal. Sorry, another corner to Arsenal. Did I say another draw? Punched away by not Livramento. That would have been a penalty. Dubravka. Good play by Arsenal there, but Lewis Skelly's trying to slip in Timber, but overhit the pass. Did well in the build-up. Corner merchants, says Phil Mitchell. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. It's a must-win trophy for Arteta, says Stephen. I think it's not. He's not going to get the sack if he doesn't win a trophy, and he's not going to get the sack if he doesn't win the Carabao Cup. You're still in the FA Cup, you're still in the Champions League, you're still in a title race. Look at this playing out from the back again. How many teams cost themselves goals from playing out from the back? Matt says, you said Arsenal weren't in the title race earlier. I'm not the oracle on football. I'm not the Prime Minister of football. That's Gary Neville. I don't think they are in a title race, but technically they are. Arteta will certainly think they are. Lovely ball into Murphy behind. Lots of Arsenal players back, but they're bombing into the box, Newcastle. He's got fouled there, surely. Wins a corner. Referee says no. It's a corner, but he won't give a foul. Let's have a look at this. Nice ball into Murphy. Cuts it back. Yeah, so that's a yellow card. That's a yellow card and a free kick, ref. What are you fucking doing? Absolute pillock. Mark, Todd Bowley said we need some more players. Our squad's a bit light, says Nicholas. And Nathan says, I'm done with Ineos. Fuck them. Glazer puppets. We need riots. If we sell Mainu, the banners will be out, says Josh. Corner cleared from Newcastle's corner. Super Nostalgia says, what are your thoughts on the MLS team Orlando being bought by Ronaldo and the rumour he wants to... Yeah, okay. I don't know why. Super Nostalgia, you need to change your name to Basic Comedy, because no one's ever caught me out with that, and you're never going to catch me out with that. Just embarrassing yourself. You know, we've only had 7 days of 2025 and you've terminally outed yourself as basic and thick. Trying to get me to say the words Phil and then the second name is going to be McCracken. I mean, people were trying this in 2016. I'm embarrassed for you, mate. I'm embarrassed. Freddie says, will you be doing a quick reaction to the Ornstein news? I've basically just done a video at 7 o'clock on the United Stand. There's nothing really more to add to it because David Ornstein said it 2 days ago as well. It's already, I don't need to do anything on the United Stand. I was thinking about it, but I've already covered it, really. It would just be repetition. There's not really anything new in it when I think about it. So 25 minutes gone, quite an equal game so far. Statistically, how are we looking? .50-50. One shot on target each. Yeah, Newcastle doing well so far. Arsenal not at their best, of course. I think there is a vulnerability. Why does Nuno ball work for Forest and not Spurs? Is it the expectation or do you also need some luck, says Math? I thought he was bloody terrible at Spurs, you know. And I think it's a great question. I'd love to get some decent football analysis and you know, inquisition into that. I don't know. He wasn't at Spurs for very long. But look, I don't have the definitive answer, but my answer would be the players at Forest are probably more willing to be consistent and work hard for him than at Spurs, where inherently the attitude is very inconsistent and they probably didn't respect him. I don't know. Yellow bathing suit, it says, if I could guarantee you 3 signings from the sale of Mainu, what that would do a better job than he would and half the wage, will that make you feel better? No. No, because it's selling a player to not buy 3 other players. It's selling a player who symbolises what Man United have been for years, for an ownership that symbolises that they're just basically, you know, the Glazers. North London derby final would be funny, says one boy. I don't see Spurs getting past Liverpool. I mean, is that game tomorrow? It's at Spurs. They're going to get turned over at Anfield, aren't they? Big time. I personally think Spurs could do with that game being at, well, they can't because it's not going to happen, but they could have done with that game being at Anfield and, you know, try and keep it a bit tight to bring it back to Spurs. But being at Spurs, they'll have to attack. They've got no bloody defence. I can see them getting really done over tomorrow. I can't see Liverpool not going reasonably strong. Got a very easy FA Cup game, haven't they, at the weekend? I'd say Liverpool will rest players at the weekend. I don't get how Board can complain about financial rules, maybe selling Mainu and Garnacho when they just gave Maguire a 1-year extension on 200k a week. Here's Martinelli through 1-on-1. The pace is incredible. The finish is so close. He hits the post. To be fair to Martinelli there, that was acceleration. He was probably up against a couple of donkeys, to be fair. Let me have a look. Yeah, he's running away from Dan Burn. And, well, Botman's not normally slow, is he? Was it Botman he was running away from then? Yeah. Bloody hell. He made Botman look like a bloody donkey. Eeyore. That was fast by Martinelli there. Sometimes when a player's in that sort of position, they get caught. It was really quick. He was unlucky. Unlucky. It's the post. Trossard, edge of the box. Odegaard, over the bar. Do you think Mainu will actually go? Well, if anybody's got £80 million at the moment and you think he's going to be worth... The thing about £80 million for a 19-year-old is that it's the... Look, if I pay £80 million for a 25-year-old, I've got to be thinking about how many years I'm going to get and good defending by Newcastle. Another corner from Arsenal. Still got it. Odegaard. I'll come back to this brilliant point in a minute because Arsenal are on the attack. It's going to go for a throw. Look, if I spend £80 million on a 25-year-old, I've got to be thinking what's going to happen to them in their 20s, late 20s? Are they going to become more injury prone, etc., etc.? If I'm spending £80 million on a 19-year-old, I know I'm basically going to get nearly 10 years out of them. And if I don't get 10 years, if I get 10 years out of them, it's £80 million well spent. Also, on top of that, I might get 5 years out of them and then sell them for 100 million. So it's well spent. So look, if I'm Real Madrid or I'm Chelsea and I've got the money and I've just heard from Man United that reluctantly you'd be interested if somebody made a good offer, and I've got £80 million, I'd be there and just go, there's 80 million for Mainu. And people will laugh at me, but like, I'm trying to think of a 19-year-old out there that I'd want at Man United. Give me a 19-year-old that is like really highly thought of, or a 20-year-old that I could get for 80 million quid. Well, no, just give me a 19, 20-year-old who's really good. No, all right, but no, I can't compare him to Yamal. Yamal's too good. I don't know if about Galler. I was more thinking about Premier League. Jude Bellingham's a good example, right? Real Madrid have got financial problems, yeah? Don't clip me, it's not happening. It's a hypothetical. So Real Madrid have got financial problems and they're trying to sell players and they're struggling to do it. So they put it out there through David Ornstein that reluctantly they would be listening to, they need to raise money and they would reluctantly listen to offers for Jude Bellingham if it was a good offer. If I'm Man United and I've got 100 million, I'm going to ring up Real Madrid and I'm going to go, there's 90 million in cash now for Bellingham. And they're probably going to think, ooh, I might take that. And people might say, well, why would you do it? Because Jude Bellingham's still really young. He's not going to be in his prime for 5 years. So I'm paying 100 million, 90 million for a player that's not going to be in his prime for 5 years. And I might be able to sell him again then, or I might get another 5 years out of it. What people don't realise about a transfer fee is it's how many years you're getting out of the player as well. Have they got a resale value? Yes. But also how many years are you going to get out of them? So 90 million for a 19-year-old is very, very economical. And that's my worry now, is that if I'm thinking that, and some of you are thinking that, if you're Real Madrid or a club that's got the money, you might think, you know what, let's just test the water and offer 70 for Mainu. But for me, some people might say, well, you should take that. It's symbolic. We've had the Busby Babes, we've had the Class of 92, we've had George Best. We're not a club that brings through a teenager with immense talent and then sells them off for sells them off for a bit of money. That's just, we've never been about that. And it's basically destroying and ripping out the heart of the football club for money. And that's what the Glazers have been doing for 20 years. And it would be so disappointing that Ineos are on board with that. But many people warned us about Ineos. Business. And how can Sir Jim Radcliffe honestly sit there and say, I'm a lifelong Man United fan? When we talk about football wages, it's insane the numbers we throw out there for some mediocre talent. PR is insane right now for footballers, says Constantine. Good game here, though. 35 minutes gone. Newcastle giving as much as they're getting. Still 0-0. Do you think if players like PK Forlan stayed at United, they would have risen to the heights they did after leaving? I don't think Forlan would have done, Kesman. PK might have done. Mainu in midfield with Casido would be good, says Nicholas. Martinelli or Rashford, says Connor. Well, Martinelli at the moment. He's actually playing football, isn't he? Could United sell Mainu to bring McTominay back? Matthew says, thoughts on Roy Keane as a pundit? I like Roy Keane. I don't think he's always right, but I like listening to him. Could Amram not rate Mainu? Genuine question, says Move Maniac. Daniel Pollard with a super chat. Thank you very much. Daniel says, have you heard that Elon Musk might be interested in buying Liverpool from FSG? I've seen the stories about it. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't really know what to say. Goal, Newcastle! That's what I know what to say. It's got nothing to do with Elon Musk, but he'd have been proud of that one. It's 1-0 to Newcastle, and guess who scored it? Guess who scored it? You'll easily guess who scored it. It's Isak. It's 1-0, and it's Arsenal, who are losing at home to one of the informed teams in Europe. And it's the perfect team to score first, to be honest with you. It really is. It's from a set piece as well, which will annoy Newcastle. Arsenal. Set piece. Flicked on. Bad defending. Bad defending from an Arsenal team. I'm actually surprised. It's a long ball. They don't win the first header. They don't win the second ball. And it drops to Isak. It's a simpler finish you'll never get. But Murphy does well again in the build-up. I think Rice can't. I mean, looking at it again, I don't think there's a lot Rice can do. But it's that first ball, isn't it? Lovely finish by Isak. You'd expect him to score from there. But just a long punt forward from a set piece. And it's all in winning that first header. 1-0 Newcastle. Game on. Game on. They're on the attack again here with Isak. Got to be careful. Does well. Goes wide to Gordon. He's in the box. And he's lost the ball there. Havertz wins a free kick. Prince Jr. says, set piece FC getting done by a set piece. Essex Boy says it was a bit of a lucky bounce. To be fair, I don't think Arsenal can do anything about the second challenge. Watch this. Up it goes. Botman. Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely take by Murphy, but it's all about that first header. You've got to cut it out at source, and they didn't. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to That's Football. You're all very welcome, of course. Oh, it's a job for Arsenal now, isn't it? I did say 41% of you said Newcastle win, 22% said draw, 37% said Arsenal win. So, yeah, I had a feeling about Newcastle tonight. They've not lost a game in their last 26 when they've scored first. They've won 22 and drawn 4. Grass says 60k a week from 20k for Mainu in a struggling financial club. We have to get rid of these players that give our kids delusional grandeurs. Well, remember Arsenal had that big chance with Martinelli, didn't they? It was a bit unlucky, to be fair. 5 minutes to go to half-time. It's flown by. Sorry, I was just looking at something. Very rude of me. Yeah, good play here from Arsenal. But look, I don't know how Newcastle have managed this. Maybe it's not being in Europe. They don't have a massive squad, but when they've got their players, they're a good side. And you know, they lose Isak, and I think they're in trouble. Bit like Villa last season with Watkins. You lose that player and you're in trouble. But they're very capable at the moment of giving everybody a game. Whereas Arsenal, as we know, they've played a lot of games. And this season, they have struggled a little bit. I say struggled. I mean, they're still in a good position. But what I mean is they've struggled to get their best 11 out consistently. Here's Partey. He should have hit that first time. He still could hit it. He's going to get a free kick on the edge of the box. Joel Linton's not happy about it. Who remembers when I used to think Joel Linton was called Joe Linton and was from Stoke? I was convinced he used to play for Stoke and his name was Joe Linton. That probably is a foul, to be fair. Good free kick position here. I don't know who's going to take it for Arsenal. Joel Linton's got a yellow card. What's new? What have I just seen? United willing to sell Mainu due to poor financial situation. It's a disgrace, Raz. It's an absolute disgrace. If Arsenal lose, Mark, they will come out with a point to prove against United, says Caitlin. Is the ban on Amorim this transfer window still on, says Aryan. Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Still 3 weeks to go. Imagine Odegaard's going to take this. Do you think Arsenal will look to make a change with Arteta, even if he keeps competing for titles but does not win in the next few years, says Stephen? Make a change for what? What manager do you think's out there that's going to do a better job than Arteta? I think that's always the question. I said this about Ten Hag a year ago. There's a lot of United fans wanted Ten Hag out, and I was like, that's fine, but who are you bringing in? And then they'd mention names, and I'd go, I don't think he's going to do that much better. But you know, Arsenal, there seems to be a bit of a movement. Let's see what happens with this free kick. Odegaard, it's into the wall. There seems to be a little bit of a movement. I think some of the Arteta out movement never went away, to be honest. Have you noticed in football as well? I don't know whether it's a modern phenomenon that's just amplified by social media, but I think there are a lot of people, whether it's Twitter accounts, journalists, even content creators, who seem to be obsessed with being proven right rather than, you know, supporting their team or, you know, changing minds. There seems to be a lot of people just, as I say, I think there are some people that were Arteta out who are still Arteta out, just waiting for the point to be proven right. He doesn't seem to have won all Arsenal fans back, and yet Gotcha culture, yeah, Bob, yeah. No, I wouldn't have that levelled at me, and I can give you multiple stories of how that's not me. I mean, look at Harry Maguire 2 years ago. I'd have sold him for a bag of sweets. Thought he was absolutely shit. Captaincy took off him. Maybe that released him a little bit. Last 18 months, I've been very happy with Maguire and have given him, a lot of praise multiple times. There's always a way back. I was always taught that. Rehabilitation, whatever, life and football. There's always a way back if somebody can prove it, but criticism is fair. But yeah, I think there is a lot of people out there now who just don't want to change their mind. And my question would be on Arteta. All right, you might want Arteta to go, but where are you going next? There's no obvious choice for a replacement for Arteta. There might be a few hipster choices. I mean, look, you might mention Xabi Alonso. I don't think you'd ever get him. Good manager, but is he really going to come and guarantee you a title? And that's the thing. You get rid of Arteta, he's consistently putting you in title races and getting you Champions League football, which wasn't happening before. Look at West Ham with David Moyes. He won you a Conference League and consistently put you in the top half of the league, and now look at you. So, Michael McIver says, I think you're the meanest person I know. Mean? Okay, don't really know what you're on about there. What's your thoughts on Potter to West Ham as an outsider, says Joe the Hammer? Well, I don't know what's going on at West Ham. I thought he'd been sacked, Lopetegui, and then apparently he's taking training today. I don't really know what's going on. Why does Joel Linton wear his shorts so short? Maybe he's a big fan of Socrates, the not the Greek philosopher, but the Brazilian tall footballer from the 80s. He used to wear very short shorts. 2 minutes of extra time here. Rajif says, on the other hand, Mainu could also end up being another Rashford who we can't sell. I'd be devastated if we sell Mainu. Yeah, so Stephen, I don't really understand the criticism. It's a bit like Spurs, apart from Arsenal are decent and Spurs are shit. But if Spurs got rid of Ange, for what? Where are you going next? I don't know where Spurs go next, because you've done everything. You've done, you've tried the Premier League hipster manager from a lower club, Nuno. You've tried Premier League winning managers, Conte and Jose. You've now gone for a little bit of a creative manager, an Ange. I mean, where do you go next? Tim Sherwood? I just don't know. I don't know where you go next. I honestly, I think for Spurs and Arsenal, I wouldn't really understand why you'd sack either manager, because I don't know where you'd go next. Half time, and it's 1-0 to Newcastle. I said these games were going to be good, and I'm right. They are good. They're very, very good. And as you can see at half time, Newcastle have less possession now, less shots now, but they have the lead now. And they'd be looking at... look, Arsenal would be advisable to take a win to the second leg, because as we know, Newcastle at Newcastle is a very, very difficult game. But at the moment, 1-0 to the Newcastle, not the Arsenal. Is Trossard injured? I didn't notice that, but they can't afford any more injuries. Alonso said, well, a bit of breaking news going out. It's nothing to do with this game. David Ornstein, one of the best transfer journalists in the game, is saying that Manchester United would consider big offers for Kobe Mainu and Garnacho. This has sent shockwaves through the United fan base and some other fan bases, because Manchester United, I can tell you, are a football club that in its fan base prides itself as being a football club that promotes and nurtures young talent. We've had a young player from our youth setup on the bench since the 1930s. This is what we do. And to have a new ownership come in and say, we'd be willing to sell your best young talent is terrifying. It's terrifying on many levels. Alonso says, regarding Mainu and Garnacho, it's a reality of football at this stage, but United won't be selling either of them. Says Alonso. I think the thing for me is, and I said it on the United stand, I don't think we will sell Kobbie Mainoo. But what absolutely appalls me is, why is that story out there? Why, as I said, I was on the United stand earlier, and I found my phone now. If I'm Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I'm on my phone now, and I'm going, hello, who is that? Hello, Dave. This is Sir Jim. What's this absolute shit story that's out there that we're willing to sell Kobbie? Oh, sorry. Just rang my mum. Sorry. I hit the button. Yeah, I'll ring later. Fuck. I haven't rang her since Christmas, but she's probably really happy. Yeah. Anyway. She has gone. Anyway, Dave. What was I saying? Yeah, Dave. Sir Jim here. Why is that story out there about Mainoo? Well, I've got a story for you. Put this out there. Quote me. Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Don't miss the Sir bit out. I've earned it. Kobbie Mainoo will not be sold by Manchester United on my watch. End of brackets. Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Get that out there now. And that's what I would do. Now. And that's what I think some people don't understand, is that United have briefed to people like David Ornstein that they're willing to listen to offers for Kobbie Mainoo. I don't think we will sell him, but tell me why you would allow that story to be out there. It's just incredible. And whether we sell him or not, it pisses me off that we're allowing that story to be out there, because it sends a horrible message, a terrifying message. Would you take 200 million for Rashford, Garnacho and Mainoo, says D92? No. No, I'm not selling Kobbie Mainoo. It pisses me off. It's not about the money. It symbolises some things matter more than money. And it symbolises, look, if you want me to get emotional on you, George Best is no longer with us. Sensational talent, broke through at Manchester United in the 60s. Class of 92, can't win anything with kids. Legacy. Busby Babes, amazing team. Some of them passed away in Munich. Some things are worth more than money. Selling young players, it's not about Kobbie Mainoo. It's about who we are. In less than a month, at the start of February, this football fan base of Manchester United remembers what happened in Munich in 1958. Basically, the death of the Busby Babes and that team. A few weeks before it, we're talking about selling a young player who symbolises everything that we're about. I just can't get my hat on how Ineos thinks this. The timing of it's disgusting, and the message is disgusting. And I can't, for the life of me, understand how Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a lifelong Man United fan. I can't. I just can't, because I just don't, he doesn't get it. There's so many United fans who will be listening to what I've just said then and gone, you know what, he's absolutely spot on, that's why I'm pissed off. And we've got a lifelong fan who thinks it's fine to put it out there that you'd sell a player that symbolises what the club's actually about. Disgusting. Greg Donald's got it. Youth symbolises what Man United are about. Ineos out. Joshua says, if you were Mainoo and the story comes out, what would you feel like? Well, never even thought about that. Yeah, it's just demoralising. It's crap for Amorim, isn't it? Anyway, this game, it is 1-0 to Newcastle, and it's deserved. But you know what? Good result against Liverpool, and the morale of key players will be in the mud, because club have briefed they're for sale. Prats. Absolute prats. You just can't get your head on it. You know, even when you think about it like that, we went to Anfield a couple of days ago, put in a really good team performance. 2 days later, Ineos brief that everyone's for sale. I mean, it's almost like it's sabotage, isn't it? When you think about it like that, it's like it's sabotage. City sold Palmer and look what happened, says Truck. Mate, are you an absolute turbo prat? Man City, who'd won the title 3 years in a row, sold a player they couldn't use. Man United, who are absolutely shit, sell our best player. Bit different, mate. Bit different. It's like the guy who's got 11 Ferraris selling a Ferrari. And it's like the guy who, you know, walks to work selling his Ferrari. You know, there's no comparison, is there? Liam, you're gone. Stop setting up new accounts. I won't read it. Youth symbolises what Man United are about, says Greg. Thank you very much. Apparently, Ugarte, Yoro, etc. for sale too, says Ali Spinios. Zach says, is Mainu on 20 grand a week? Apparently, that's apparently. I mean, you're never 100% sure on wages, but that came out tonight. Ober says, you're so dramatic. He means that Palmer is doing good at Chelsea and City missed a dime. No, he doesn't mean that, mate. Read it back again. He said, City sold Palmer and look what happened. He means like City sold Palmer and they made good money from it and they still won the league. John Rees says, if Mainu comes out and kills the rumours, Ineos lose all credibility. How can Mainu kill the rumour when it's Man United putting out he's for sale? If your boss tomorrow says, I want to sack you, you can't come out and go, I know he wants to get rid of me, but it's not true. You know, he's got no power in it at all. What do you think of Newcastle first half, Mark, says Michael? Really good. I mean, I think with Newcastle, I tweeted it earlier. I think Newcastle will get something here tonight. You know, I thought Brentford would get something last week, so you're not always correct. But the way Newcastle have been playing, the way they've been defending, they're playing with great confidence at the moment. And I just think there's a vulnerability to Arsenal where if they were playing one game a week, I think Arsenal would be very dangerous. But I look at their schedule at the moment and it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't support Arsenal, so I can't go back too far, but Brentford last Wednesday, Brighton on Saturday, Newcastle tonight. That's 3 games in 6 days. And then they've got a game at the weekend and a game midweek against Spurs. So this Arsenal team needs a break. And players are tired, players are injured. They're coming up against a team that I think is fresh and confident. It's going to be a big second half for Arsenal. I think they can get back into it. Martinelli could have made it 1-0, but it's no. What I'm saying is it's not a shock, and it's no criticism of Arsenal that they're losing 1-0. I think this was a difficult game for them tonight. Wish Spurs got Amorim. I'd rather take Sherwood than Ange. Can't stand the no defence as CCM. Looking forward to that game tomorrow. Looking forward to it. As a City fan, I hope we don't splash the cash in January, but instead lower our dependence on Rodri and use our youngsters, says Sergio. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League, says Mohammed? Mate, I predicted Man City at the start of the season because I think everybody thought it was going to be Man City at the start of the season. But as I said, when Liverpool beat Man City at Anfield at the start of December, Liverpool won the league for me. Obviously, they didn't. You know, I wouldn't have bet my mortgage on it, but that's where, for me, I changed my mind. I felt with Arsenal, I had a funny feeling with Arsenal. I want Arsenal to win the league, by the way. I don't want Liverpool to win the league, obviously. I'd like Arsenal to win it. But I think we'd all love Forest to win it, wouldn't we? It would be Leicester all over again. In fact, it would be better than Leicester because it's a much harder league. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I felt with Arsenal, pretty much the Brighton game where Declan Rice got sent off. I was wrong, but I felt that when they drew to Brighton, they'd already dropped 2 silly points at home that you can't do when you're up against Man City. Now, to be fair, Man City have been terrible, so that draw to Brighton wasn't the problem. The loss to Bournemouth wasn't the problem. I think by the time you're drawing to Everton at home, that was when the problem started, because they've just dropped too many points. And they've not put any pressure on Liverpool, because every time Liverpool have dropped points or had a game postponed, Arsenal haven't put the pressure on them. So, yeah, I think Liverpool will win the league. Fairway 5 says, agree not selling, but if Amrim doesn't rate, is it better to be a bench player just to say we never sell youth, or do we cash in before the price dilutes, says Fairway 5. I understand that argument, that maybe Amrim doesn't like him, but I presume you're not a Man United fan, because our midfield is shit beyond Agate and Mainu, and we don't have money. So why would you sell one of your only 2 good midfielders to bring in another midfielder, because you'll be in the same position? Like, we need 3 or 4 midfielders. We've only got 2. Why would you sell one of them to bring another one in? It doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Fairway 5. Stig Olsen says, Arteta's built a strong team, but there is some mentality in the team that is just not there. Why do you think he can't push them to a trophy? I'm not doing Hoyland versus Jackson, Paul Vincent. Jackson won. There you go. You know that's going to happen. This is Patrick, says, luckiest, says, Mainu is not happy with the initial terms United have offered over a new contract. It's a shame that sort of thing leaks out, isn't it? Because if I'm negotiating a contract at work and I know other people who don't work as hard as me or on more money than me, and I say, I want that money, and then it leaks out that I'm being greedy, am I being greedy? If I work hard at work and there's people who don't work as hard as me getting paid more money than me, and I say I want close to what they get, and then it gets leaked out by my boss that I'm being greedy, it makes me look bad. But actually, I've got every right to say it. And that's what pisses me off when we get leaks about things like that, because it just feels like it almost feels like the club are trying to turn the fans against the player when the club are in the wrong, in my opinion. Right, second half, let's go. Going back to winning mentality for Arsenal and Arteta. Look, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I find myself defending Arteta quite a lot over the years. What winning mentality is he missing? They missed out on the title by 2 points to the best team the Premier League has had in the last decade. They've dominated the Premier League. They won a treble a couple of years ago. Where are Arsenal meant to magic up this winning mentality when they're going up against a juggernaut? I think this season is the only season you could potentially be critical of Arsenal, because they've been leapfrogged by Liverpool. I don't think they bottled it twice, LZ, at all. I think that's just the argument of an idiot. But I think this season there would be, if Liverpool win the league this year, I think there would have to be a review as to why that happened. Losing the title to Man City is disappointing twice, but you can understand it. Man City are facing a court case at the moment for, perceived cheating. If you come second to Man City, there's no real scrutiny in that, because we know what Man City are. They're a juggernaut with the best players, the best manager and the best squad. But when you come second to Liverpool, I think Arsenal will have to assess that and go, what went wrong? I think what went wrong is they haven't got a bloody striker, which I think everybody knows they need. I also think what went wrong is they made silly mistakes at the start of the season with red cards and, Saliba, Odegaard and Rice. Those red cards cost them 6 points, maybe 7 points. Maybe they would have beat Bournemouth with 11 men. So 7 points puts them top of the league. Massively in a title race. Fine margins, isn't it? Also, they've picked up a lot more injuries this year. Would you swap Anthony for 5 pints of Peroni, says CCM. I think after if I can drink them before, yeah, I think on pint 3 I'd definitely be doing the deal. What's your opinion about Fenway Sports Group? Lack of investment in the squad when it's needed, says Howder. Top of the league. Top of the league, top of the Champions League, you know. Football's a funny old game, isn't it? You know, we're scrutinising Arsenal here, but Liverpool, imagine if Liverpool were where, maybe not Man United, but, you know, imagine if Liverpool were where Villa are. Can you imagine what Liverpool fans would be saying? It's not Slot's fault. They didn't buy any players in the summer. Fine margins, isn't it, as an owner? Ewan Vickers says that Xerxes reminds him of Havertz. Is that a good or a bad thing? Doesn't remind me of him, to be fair. Just trying to think about that for a moment. Clear to see the writing on the wall for the Ineos buying a bargain. Is washing over the rich culture really worth material success? I'm sure you agree football is more than that, says Duma. Zaki says, if United sells Mainu, it would be a big mistake. Fans would lose trust in Ineos, in the manager, because he didn't stop the sale, and it would be all over again. Ineos out. Well, Arsenal are going to have to attack a lot more in the second half now. Now, this is something that Arsenal fans have criticised in recent weeks, the inability to put the ball in the back of the net up against a team that sits deep. We saw it with Everton over Christmas. So from Newcastle's point of view, they like to play like this. They like to counter. They've got the players to do it. So, of course, Newcastle know Bruno G today as well, which is, you know, one of their better players. I thought he was their man of the match against Spurs. So, very interesting second half now. Newcastle on the break again. But then Havertz has it. Look, Havertz is a tidy player. There's no doubt about that. But as a number 9, I don't see it. It's a bit like Jackson at Chelsea, isn't it? You know, he scores a goal and people start telling you he's good enough. But good enough is consistently scoring goals week in, week out. And he's not that type of player. I just think that those types of players, you've got to have them in your arsenal. They don't. But I wouldn't fancy Arsenal in the second leg if they lose. They've got to get something here in the second half. Oh no! Oh no! It's Anthony Gordon and it's 2-0. I bloody jinxed it again. They've been done on the break again. Isak gets the shot off. Raya makes the save. And on the back post, Anthony Gordon makes it 2-0. And I'll tell you what, I said Newcastle were going to get something here today. They're going to get something here today. They're in a bloody brilliant position now. They're 2-0 up at the Emirates. Daylight. And the second leg's at St James's Park. But it's good football again. It's a lovely ball into Isak. He gets the shot off. And Timber on the back post? His starting position's not good enough. And Anthony Gordon is there to react. Who makes that pass into Isak? I don't know whether it's a worldy pass or it's just bad defending by Arsenal, but it's a lovely ball. Is it Livramento? It's a lovely pass. It really is. That's what makes the goal. Good feet by Isak. You're going to expect that. And Anthony Gordon commits for the rebound. Anticipation, player again. But the pass, it was Murphy. Lovely. What? You know what? He's underrated, isn't he? He's been brilliant for them. Absolutely brilliant. And it's a goal, 2-0. Well, I tell you what, we've got a fantastic last 40 minutes now because Arteta will be panicking. He's talking to his set-piece guy. He can't help you. The home crowd are so silent, I almost forgot they're at the Emirates, says Stephen. Nadia says, why do people blame FSG for contracts when Trent, Salah and Van Dijk most likely wanted to see how life was like after Klopp? Cheers and Happy New Year. Nadia, thank you very much. Stig says, thanks, Mark. I don't mean Arteta's got a bad mentality. The team have been so good for 3 seasons, but those players have to win a trophy for him. Marky, what was your favourite United trophy win? Oh, it's too easy, mate. It's always going to be 99 Champions League. Jason Brown says, has anyone seen the shambles Ineos have made of Nice? If Isak can be scoring now, surely Moani can work too, says Rohan. And Jide says, what if Mainoo's being sold because desired wages are too high? Arteta, oh, they'll definitely be doing that. They'll definitely be doing that. I told you. I printed the T-shirts. I told you 4 years ago, Arteta. I know we've qualified for the Champions League every year and we're second and we've been in a title race and yeah, but we're playing better football than we have done for years. But I told you, Arteta, we should have won the bloody treble every year by now. Oh, Arteta. I just like saying Arteta. Oh. Yellow card. Need to see it close up. Anthony Gordon. No, probably just going to be a yellow. Let's have a look. Nah, yeah. Looked worse than it was. Yeah, genuinely attempts to get the ball. Gets the player, yellow card. The Fighter 3110 says, you say Havertz is tidy but not good enough at 9. Then what use is he? Not like he's good enough in the midfield either. Well, look. Well, you know, I'm trying to use my words fairly here. I was very confused by the Havertz signing. I think in some ways you could say it was a success. In other ways you could say it was a mistake. But I was very confused by the Havertz signing. He has scored goals for Arsenal, but look, if Arsenal want to win titles, you have to compare yourself to teams that win titles. And when you look at Chelsea with Drogba, Man United with Van Persie, Man City with Aguero or Haaland, you need a striker that can score goals consistently. And Havertz doesn't do that. So it's that's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. You know, you've got you need somebody that, look, I've said it, and I know at the moment he's not a flavour of the month, but I do believe that if Arsenal had Ollie Watkins, he's probably going to get laughed at, but he would be a player that would be better for Arsenal this season than Havertz, because he is just a striker. That's his job. Whatever you think about him, that's his job. That's what he's there to do. And Arsenal just don't have anybody in that team that can do that. And that might be by design. Maybe maybe Arteta doesn't want someone like that. I don't know. But for me, from the outside in, Arsenal can score goals. Of course they can. But they don't strike fear into teams like Erling Haaland does. But we're getting what we thought. It's funny because even before the game kicked off, more people said Newcastle were going to win this. I think a lot of people just anticipated and predicted that Arsenal were becoming more and more vulnerable by the week. I think without Saka, it's like Liverpool without Salah. You are vulnerable. It's not impossible for you to keep winning, but it's tough. He's such an important player for them. Go! Oh my God! That's my point! That is my point. I can't believe it. What a miss. You need a striker. We've literally just been talking about Havertz and how they need a striker. Well, hello, specimen A. It deflects into the box. He's 6 yards out and he misses the header and hits his shoulder and goes wide. Absolute shite. And that's why Arsenal need a striker. It's Exhibit A. Oh, Jorginho's coming on. You'll be fine. And Jesus. That was terrible. Who's your go-to Mario Kart character? Says attack the backlog. I haven't played it in ages. I think I was always like Mario or Luigi or that little mushroom twat. I think I was the little mushroom twat the most. What was his name? Mushroom. I don't know. What's the mushroom called in Mario Kart? Toad. Yeah, it was him. Ineos out, says Shane B. Toro says, what's your favourite Premier League moment from the 12-13 team? Well, I mean, I think the Villa goal for Van Persie was great, but actually I really liked the hat-trick against Southampton. Got more viewers on your second channel than Arsenal fan channel. Take a bow, Goatbridge, says Vish. Mate, that's been going on for years. It's the same with Liverpool as well. Whenever I do a Liverpool game, it gets what both Liverpool fan channels get combined. It's an amazing community. Arsenal! Oh, cut back Rice! Cleared off the line. Offside anyway. Eddie Howe is a world-class manager, says back. I mean, that's something I'm happy to admit. I said on the podcast at the start of last year that I didn't think Eddie Howe would be Newcastle manager this time next year. And here he is. And I think a lot of people would understand what I mean by that. The Newcastle project wasn't going well 12 months ago. And they're ambitious. And he is a good manager and he does deserve to get credit because he's been at Newcastle a while now. And every time it looks like they're going to drop off a little bit, you know, they find a way to be ridiculously consistent again. And they are ridiculously consistent. Colin says, is the podcast with Will over? No, mate, it's we're just doing it audio now. I know we did it on YouTube a little bit, but we found it was just, you know, you've got to commit to one or the other, and it's a podcast, so you listen to it. Lavish says you're really cute. That's the second time today, mate. Do you think we can beat Arsenal on Sunday? Says R6. I think it'll be a good game on Sunday, Man United Arsenal. I think we're catching them at a good time. If we can replicate what we did at Anfield, then you know, I'm not confident we'll win. I think Arsenal are a good team, but I'm confident we can give them a game. And also, for Arsenal, how many times can they keep going strong? They've gone strong tonight. You go strong against Man United on Sunday. Then you've got Spurs on the Wednesday. How many times can they keep going strong? And every game, players are becoming more fatigued. Players are getting injured. They haven't got anybody back. So this is why I said I worry about Arsenal a little bit, because they're in a really good position. They're in a Carabao Cup semi-final. They're in the FA Cup. They're in the Champions League. They're second in the Premier League. But they are a bit vulnerable at the moment. And again, the lack of activity in the transfer window, it's confusing. We all know about the financial situation at Chelsea and Man United and Man City. But at Arsenal and Liverpool, it's not as well documented, I don't think. I mean, I know Arsenal do spend money, but I think it's also, you know, I think there is a time where they could do it as well. Triple substitution for Newcastle here as well. Fresh legs, FC. Well, it's a corner for Arsenal. Declan Rice is on it. They're normally good corners. That's right up on the back post. And again, look, you know what? Even set piece FC have a couple of times tonight have had free headers. Jesus here, Timber in the first half. They've had chances in what they do. Newcastle making some subs here. Barnes, Longstaff and Kelly coming on for Isak, Willock and Murphy. Kelly's the guy they got from Bournemouth, isn't it? Ronnie Dodge says, I think Arsenal will struggle against a weak, rested United. Well, that's if Ineos haven't destroyed the morale of Mainu and Garnacho by putting them up for sale. Here's Anthony Gordon on the break again. Still 25 minutes to go here. I mean, Arsenal, let me just frame this for you. Arsenal need to score, because they're not going to go to St James's Park and win by 2 goals. And Newcastle get a third and it's over. Arteta out, says Jimmy. Hi Mark, Arsenal fan from Florida here. If we pick up a striker, I think we maybe still have a chance. Hard to keep my chin up though, says Connor. But you're not being linked to a striker, are you? I did that video earlier about on That's Football talking about Mamouche, and it's Man City. Man City, not Arsenal. And then I read something today that there's only 2 clubs in the league that could probably afford Isak. And Arsenal was one of them. And I was like, so if Arsenal are one of the clubs that can afford him, why don't they fucking buy him then? Must have felt good seeing more people in your Liverpool watch along than at Anfield, says the Boyd. I mean, that was incredible. at the weekend. Incredible. Ian says, what FA Cup games are you doing at the weekend? Do you know what? I haven't even had a look. I know there's some absolute cracking Premier League games next week. 3 nights in a row. You've got Forest against Liverpool at 8 o'clock next Tuesday, week tonight. Then you've got Arsenal, Tottenham a week tomorrow. And then, well, I'll be doing Man United, Southampton on the Thursday, but some cracking games. Edge of the box, good block. I tell you what, Newcastle do make a lot of blocks. They've got more blocks than Lego. And Martinelli shoots over the bar. Yeah, so FA Cup weekend, haven't even had a look at it. It's hard to do FA Cup weekend because, you know, Man City Salford's a gimmick. Man City will win that. I'm not interested in that. Birmingham, Lincoln, Liverpool, Accrington, Stanley, gimmick. I'll probably do the 3 o'clock games, actually. I might just do a 3 o'clock stream on Saturday because there's just loads of 3 o'clock games. So, yeah. Obviously going to do Man United, Arsenal on Sunday at 3. I presume it's probably Friday night games, isn't there? Villa, West Ham, 8 o'clock on Friday. Declan Rice should have dived. Did I just say that live? Oh, yeah, I don't condone cheating, but you should have dived, mate. Another corner to Arsenal. How many corners have they had? Six. And they haven't scored one. Thought it was like penalties. Why haven't Lapateu sacked thingy yet? Why hasn't West Ham sacked Lapateu yet? James BCFC says, how much do I need to pay you to do a watch-along for Birmingham Lincoln? I tell you what, I should start doing that. You know, instead of like cameo birthdays, pay me to do a watch-along and I'll do it. For Birmingham against Lincoln on a Saturday lunchtime, we're talking 6 figures, mate. Do you think West Ham could get Jose? I mean, I just think Mourinho's box office, whether he's any good anymore, I don't know, but I mean, Potter would be interesting. I think he's become a bit mythical. I mean, he was okay at Brighton. He was awful at Chelsea. He's got a high opinion of himself. I'm interested to see what happens when he comes back. Yeah, you and me, we can ride on a star. Rub says, Arteta, this guy's worse than Big Sam. You know what? I think Arsenal fans, some of them are very intelligent and some of them are deluded. I don't know what it is they expect. It's like they became so indoctrinated in the Wenger out period where they were shit that every time they lose a game they need to sack a manager. Like it's like they don't, entitled is the word, Dune Bugs. Yeah, Newcastle are a good side. You've got injuries, you're losing 2-0. It's actually been a very equal game, but you're losing 2-0 and it's like the end of the world. I find it idiotic how some Arsenal fans react to the fact that you're losing 2-0 to a good side at home in an equal game. You're not going to win every week. Man United with Sir Alex Ferguson, we didn't win every week. We didn't do an Invincibles once. Never got close to it. You will lose games. It happens. I heard Everton might sack Dyche. And you wonder if that's because they're, hold on, this could be problems. Oh, he went a bit early there to Harvey Barnes, Tonali. Should have held that on a little bit longer. Oh, he's fell over himself. Penalty! No. Nowadays, players got to go to ground, so ref will look at it, says Kieran. Well, we've got about 18 minutes left. If it stays like this, I think Arsenal are going to struggle. If Newcastle get the third, I think Arsenal are out. And if Arsenal can get one back, I think it's game on in the second half. Abraham says, Mark, serious question. Who was the bigger waste of money? Rasmus for 72 million or Anthony for 80 million? I thought you said you were asking a serious question. That's not a serious question, mate. Like, it's not even close. You think Liverpool will win if Arsenal sign a striker? Says it's Crespo. Yeah, I think Liverpool's lead is too big for Arsenal now. And what striker are Arsenal going to get? I think Arsenal need a striker, but I don't think a striker in January is going to solve the problem. I think they've already lost too many points because they didn't have a striker. You know, Everton a couple of weeks ago, they probably would have won that game with a striker. So I don't think a striker in January is going to stop Liverpool winning the league this year. But they do need one. Yeah. Do you think Forest could beat Liverpool next week? I hope they do beat them next week, just for the title race. Oh my God, that's a terrible ball by Gabriel. Well done by Hall. Lovely play. He's having a good season, isn't he? Can we finally accept Havertz's crap, says Will. Substitution. Almiron. I thought he got blew up in Star Wars. It's a proper Ian Wright moment, that is, for me. I forgot Almiron played for Newcastle. Last time I saw Almiron, he was tearing me up on bloody EAFC like he was bloody prime Messi. Well, he's coming on for Anthony Gordon here. Imagine Isak for the second leg at Arsenal. Is there any chance for voice-only podcast on YouTube? No. I just realised. No, I'm not uploading an audio file to YouTube. Why can't you just go and listen to it on Spotify? I really wonder why Arteta goes from playing beautiful football to watch for 2 years to become Jose 2.0. Is he afraid to bottle it against the Stig? Nah is a lifelong Arsenal fan. More than 40 years of loving the club. Fans these days are babies. I had to come to watch York because our pundits are entitled fair weather fans. I do feel sorry for you, Arsenal fans, sometimes in relation to your content creation. I mean, Robbie's good, but I think Robbie's at the game, isn't he? Yeah, I know. I don't know who you're talking about, but I do know over the years I've seen enough clips of Arsenal fans, and I think they are entitled. I think some of them do it because they see it as an opportunity to get a bit of virality, but it's very entitled. I'd give anything to be in Arsenal's situation as a United fan. I think what Arteta's done from where you were is remarkable, and I don't see anybody's going to do a better job. I think what's happening here is Newcastle have got a cutting edge and Arsenal don't. I genuinely think if Saka was playing, you probably would have won. But Arsenal are a victim of their own success. Newcastle aren't in Europe and they're fresh. Arsenal, to me, I said it before the game, I think they're going to drop points over the next, well, not points, but I think they're going to, I think Man United might be difficult on Sunday as well. I can't believe I'm saying that. Do you think Bradley should start for Liverpool against Forest? I was fuming with Trent, says Eva. I don't think whatever you think about Trent, he's still world class in that position and he might have a point to prove. So I understand it's up to Liverpool and Liverpool fans. I understand those that are frustrated, but from the outside looking in, he's still a fantastic player. Steve Woodley says, I'd love Hall at United. Mainu in, Ineos out. Constantine says, YouTube Premium allows you to idle your phone, voice only. There you go. You never know, Arsenal might get one back here. Although Tonali is going to be a yellow card there, isn't it? No, it doesn't give it, bloody idiot. You've got to at least give the foul there, ref. What a prat. What a prat. Keeper gets hold of that one, Dubravka. So we've got about 10 minutes to go. When will, here's a question for you. When will Saka be back? Is he not going to, because I don't think he's back till like March, is he? Two months. Yeah, March. Yeah. It's not looking good, Brev. Mainu's got no intention of leaving Man United, says Paul. Is Mainu not happy with the offered contract, Mark, says Alex. That was late by Zinchenko. That's surely a yellow. And it is. He's only just come on the pitch and he's got a yellow card already. Deserved. Dirty. That tackle was dirty. It should have its own category on Pornhub. It's filth. Hey, you can't knock Newcastle. They're showing stats there that Newcastle have done next to nothing in the second half statistically. But you're 1-0 up. Well, you're 2-0 up now. And I don't blame them. You're 1-0 up away from home. You got the goal. You know you got the second leg. Counter. You got good players for a counter as well. Shamoni. But I look at this Arsenal side and it's the same. You know, I quite liked that Jose, Arsenal Jose comparison a few minutes ago. Because I look at this Arsenal side and I look at the likes of Saliba and Gabriel and Raya and Declan Rice and Odegaard, and I see a really, in that sense, I see a team that's capable of mixing it up with anybody. But I don't see Saka there anymore. And I don't see an attacking threat that matches the players I've just mentioned. They're not a bad team, Arsenal, but they're a bad team in the final third. And that's the problem. And it's been the problem today. Look at that. They've had 19 shots to Newcastle 7. Only 3 on target. That's not a 2-0 loss there. That's what I mean. You've got Arsenal fans entitled moaning. But look, you can't tell me Arsenal have been shit. They're not a threat. And they're very reliant on this again, aren't they? A corner. If the corner doesn't go in, then they struggle to score. And it's another corner. Yeah, it's another corner. And it's cleared away. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. I've said that before. It's been done. Arteta's looking at his watch. Got it for Christmas. Rolex. £5,000. No, I think he was looking at how long's left. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Still got 7 minutes to go. Remember, Tottenham-Liverpool tomorrow night. That's the game I'm actually more looking forward. I was looking forward to this. I don't want to have a favourite, but I am more looking forward to that tomorrow because it will be... Well, it's Spurs, isn't it? They remind me a little bit of Leeds under Bielsa. It's not because I want Leeds to win or wanted them to win. I just knew it would be an entertaining game. Another half chance there for Arsenal. How long we got? 6 minutes. I'm going to get the fixtures up for Arsenal actually because. I'm interested to see what they've got. No free kick there. Oh, he has given a free kick to Arsenal. Yeah, cheeky beggar. Thought he was going to play on. Right, another set piece for Arsenal. Could be yet another game at the Emirates where they don't score. USA winning the World Cup if we take Canada, says MC Binks. B. Nev, thanks for the super chat. Oliver Hunt's gifted 5 memberships. Hitchin says, I'm 1 Arsenal goal away from £800. Only put £10 on. Should I cash out or should I risk it, says Hitchin. I was going to say, if they'd scored then, I'd have said, risk it. Stig says, I'm serious. Why is Arteta playing like Jose? ...4 minutes of normal time. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Jesus, edge of the box. Terrible shot. No, it wasn't that terrible from Jorginho. I knew it wasn't going in, but it was closer than I thought. Volleys it over the bar. If you and me, we could ride on a star. Oh yeah, I was going to look at Arsenal's fixtures, wasn't I? BC Arsenal. So yeah, Man United on Sunday, Spurs on Wednesday, Villa on the Saturday, then it's back into the Champions League on the Wednesday, then it's Wolves away on the Saturday, then it's in the Champions League midweek, then it's Man City. Oh, I mean, bloody hell. It's not good for Arsenal, is it? They're going to catch Man City at a time where they're absolutely knackered and they haven't got Saka. I genuinely think if you're an Arsenal fan, my thoughts are with you. I would love you to win the league over Liverpool, but I think you're going to have some tough times over the next few weeks, and I think you're going to have to be very resolute because you know you've got people in your fan base that are going to be licking their lips at this. Arteta, and I actually think you're just in a bit of a predictably bad spell where you're playing a lot of games with not a lot of options. The US is trying to buy Greenland, but I've heard Chelsea is offering 150 billion and Mudryk. United silent so far, says MC Binks. He's having a great time in the chat. Don't really know what he's talking about, but yeah, he's having a good time. Still, Arsenal pushing. Cleared again. Newcastle defended well. Remind me a bit of the Spurs game here. They have defended well. Into the 90th minute now. Don't forget we're doing Spurs Liverpool tomorrow. What excuses do you think Arteta's got after the game? Says Howder. Grass was too tall, should have been postponed due to the wind. Too few carbohydrates and energy in the food for lunch. Yeah, I mean, look, he is a manager that likes excuses. Honestly, I think that having watched most of the game, and apologies, I have been a bit distracted. Newcastle, ooh, nearly in. I genuinely think that Newcastle are one of the best teams in England at the moment. They've come to Arsenal, defended well, and been clinical in the attack. And this is what they do. They're a very good team at the moment. Arsenal have dominated the ball, had a lot of the ball around the final third, and have got zero quality in there. And I think that's the story of the game. Newcastle have been clinical and have got quality in the final third, and Arsenal don't. And it's the same as what happened to... I wouldn't be that worried if I was an Arsenal fan. I'd be disappointed, but I'd be asking questions why we haven't bought a striker. But it's the same as Chelsea. I look at Chelsea and I think if you had a really good striker, you'll go up a level. And if Arsenal had a really good striker, you'll go up a level. You won't be drawing at home to Everton. You won't be not scoring in a game like this. They desperately need a striker. Every season, one club has all the injuries. It's Arsenal's turn this season, says Jackie. Mark, are you send it back? It's not good enough at a restaurant. Just had a terrible meal at our choice place and couldn't find the courage, says Jace. I think it's always risky to send your meal back at a restaurant. I've worked in a restaurant. I've worked in catering. And some places, if you send it back, they take it as a pride thing and will make sure that your next one's perfect. Some people will take it as an insult and spit in your food. So, yeah, it's one of those. It's risky to complain about your food. Life lesson. North London is black and white, apparently. It says TMAF. And Kieran says, Nketiah and Smith Rowe would shine this season. Is it possible for a call-up show, says Stig? I haven't done one of them for ages, mate. I would like to bring them back, but I am going over to the United Stand, actually, straight after this. I should have said that. So I will be going straight over to talk about the Mainu situation for a few minutes. Which is very, very polite of me, because I desperately need a crab. Hey, we all do them. I've been desperate for 2 hours. I had a big slice of Christmas cake this afternoon and it's found its way. It's saying it wants to say hello again. That's how selfless I am. I am going to be live on the United Stand, yes, straight after this. Literally going to end this stream and go straight over there just to talk about all this Mainu crap. And then 10:20, Fabrizio will be tweeting, concrete. It will be concrete by then. Here we go, confirmed. Goldbridge to the toilet. This could be the last chance for Arsenal. It's a good cross. Good defending by Newcastle. Got to say, very good defending. Thanks everyone who's got involved tonight, by the way. Back tomorrow night with Liverpool against Spurs. Hopefully won't be as distracted. Apologies for that. It's I'm sure you can all appreciate what it's like when your club's a fucking mess. Trust me, Arsenal fans, you don't need to worry too much about losing to Newcastle in a game like this when you've got owners who are trying to sell your best players. Absolute twats. I'm going to bury them on that show. There is a second leg, yes, Peter Pan. They're not out yet. Isak, man of the match. I'd give a shout out to Newcastle's defence again. I think they've put a bigger... I mean, I don't agree with that, actually. I don't agree with Isak being man of the match. I think Newcastle's defence has been fantastic. Second leg is not for a while, actually. I mean, Arsenal don't play the second leg until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 7 games before they play Newcastle again on the 5th of Feb. That's a lot, innit? That's what I mean. If you were Newcastle, I think you're heading to Wembley. Hey, they've got 2 really good fullbacks. I've said for a while that I like Livramento. I liked him at Southampton. And I thought Hall looked promising. And it just shows you, doesn't it? You know, Livramento and Hall have been at Newcastle a little bit at a time. And it was Trippier and Byrne playing at the fullbacks, wasn't it? And... you know, he's given them time, and now they're playing more regularly. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Newcastle win 2-0. I'm going to go over to the United Stand if you want to join me there and blow my load. No, not blow my load. Blow my top off. I'll see you over there. Thanks, everyone. We're back tomorrow night on here for Liverpool-Tottenham as well. If you want to join me on the United Stand, you're welcome. I'll be live there in a couple of minutes. Take care. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and thanks for tuning in tonight.